to even put him in there. Like that match when the Undertaker's gone for the next 12 months, Bray Wyatt should be, carrying on something from that, despite him losing. It's not like, nobody's that hurt from losing to the Undertaker. Let me tell you. So I do believe that he is owed a big match, and he deserves to have a big match. I don't buy all this. He's got to put over somebody younger. I think he's done that. He's done that like so many times through his career. If you go back, he's done that already. Maybe not at WrestleMania, but he's done his part. He's also given Brock Lesnar that huge rub that Brock Lesnar is still to this day gone on, and done well with it, by the way. But he's done his bit. I don't think he has to do that for a younger guy. I think that whole rub business for him that's been done. I do believe he deserves the big matchup, the money match. And like I say, I would love that fantasy booking I gave out earlier. That would be a really good thing. I would love to see it for the title, because I just think it gives even more to it. It's like, it could be. It could be go down as the Undertaker might say, if I lose this, I'm done. And of course, if John Cena wins, he ties up the Ric Flair's title business with it. And imagine the emotion that match will get, Matt, through it. If that is, if we know if the Undertaker doesn't win, that's the last time we're going to see him. If it's announced before. I really think that will generate a huge amount of buzz and emotion. It could be a huge deal. So that would be my ideal for a match, rather than seeing all this nonsense about Braun Strowman. And I think the Undertaker deserves better than that. And I think John Cena is the perfect candidate for the match, because we've not seen them at the big stage yet, and it's been one that's been talked about for so long now. Is there anyone else that pops up, Matt, that he's done everything. It's Shawn. He's had Triple H, hasn't he? People have been talking about Goldberg. That's not my idea of a good farewell match, despite even if Taker wins. I just don't see anything in that.
Like I said, the only other name that's a huge name out there that they haven't done is The Rock, really, isn't it? That's the only one that's standing out for me. Other than that, we've only got this generation, haven't we? And people like AJ. But, like you said, it should be someone who's on Undertaker's level. And there is only really John Cena and The Rock as that kind of star power. Yeah.
Well, we'll wait and see. But thank you very much for your question in any case. Matt, let's we're obviously Sunday we're off to... the venue was changed. We're hoping... Well, we hope it's there anyway, but... It's now coming from the famous York Hall in Bethnal Green, because they did sell out more tickets, and it's going to be quite a big deal. But as we said at the top of the show, Matt, first time we're going to be going there, and that's going to be on Sunday. So really shows how busy we're going to be this weekend watching wrestling. But I know the main event is going to be Adam Cole and Jay Lethal, who was your pick, Matt, from the back end of last year as one of your favourite wrestlers. So, it's going to be good to see him. Is there anyone else you want to see, or is there anything you're sort of like expecting to see in the Ring of Honor? Like I know Marty Skirtle's there for this tour. He's on board, and obviously the Briscoes, huge names in Ring of Honor. But is there anybody else that you're interested in seeing, or something that you're interested to see in Ring of Honor in general?
I would probably say that in wrestling today, Ring of Honor have the best sort of tag team matches. So I'm sure whatever tag team match we see is going to be incredible. I think they're going to have the Young Bucks there, so that'll be great.
Yeah, they will. I've seen some promos.
And Kazarian.
Yeah.
Every time they go against each other, it's always a terrific match. So I'll be excited to see what they can do.
Yeah, as am I. I'm really looking forward to it, because, like I say, I haven't seen Ring of Honor in person, and those guys do such a tremendous job. They're so consistent. Let's put it that way. They're very consistent in what they do, and sometimes they work maybe too fast and whatnot, or they do too much. But you can't fault that work ethic like that they've got in that company. It's so good. So I'm really looking forward to seeing it, and how the UK fans are going to be there. I'm interested to know the kind of fans that are going to go and watch Ring of Honor, because I think they really will be the die-hard kind of pro wrestling fans that look further than just the WWE, because Ring of Honor is it's not easy to get, Matt, for us in the UK. I mean, you've got to go out and download it from God knows where all over the internet, because it just isn't here, is it, at all? And you've got to seek that out to be a fan of it. But the name and everything is going to be good. So I'm really looking forward to that, and we'll definitely be talking about that on Monday's review. Our experience at Ring of Honor. I was going to go through some of the matches, but the matches, like, I'm finding they're all over the place, and I'm not sure how legit some of them are, quite frankly. So I'm gonna just wait and until we get back, and we'll be doing the full review, folks, on Monday. And you can catch that with us. We'll be back live again. Matt, let's talk now to Survivor Series. This is the one perhaps that everybody has been tuned in for. And going into this, Matt, I mean, I found it difficult just in terms of this whole Raw versus SmackDown. And, is there really this huge rivalry? And, it's so important to do now, and all the rest of it. It's been hard to take. I think it's somewhat too soon for me. I wouldn't have minded seeing sort of internal traditional Survivor Series matches, to be honest with you, at this point, and then saving that for next year, when everybody's really established and things are different. But that's just my take on it. But we got what we got. Going into Survivor Series in general, Matt, I mean, you look at the card, is it, before we get into any of the matches, is it a decent enough show for you? Have they booked right and got everybody in the right places for you?
For me, yeah, I think this is generated some interest from me. I like that they've gone back to the roots. That it is about the traditional Survivor Series match again.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess the only way that they could see to do that was to go brand versus brand. They probably thought it was too good of an opportunity to pass up the fact that they have a roster split now, and that they could pit them against each other.
Sure.
And to some degrees it does work, because I am interested to see sort of like the women's Survivor Series match, to see, like, because there's quite a lot of good people on each roster on that one. So in some sense they do kind of mirror each other, and it is more even. If they did go on the same kind of brand, then it would have to be a little bit more watered down. They might even have to move it to 4-on-4 instead of 5-on-5.
Mm-hmm.
But I like the kind of bigger feeling of the matches.
Yeah, well, it gets no bigger than this, because Team Raw, let's start with this. You're going to have the New Day, of course, Big E, Kofi and Xavier Woods, Sheamus, Cesaro, Luke Harper's and Carl Anderson, Enzo Amore and Big Cass, and the Shining Stars, Primo and Epico, on one side for Team Raw, up against Team SmackDown, which includes Heath Slater, Rhino, our famous ones, Matt, the Hype Bros, Zach, Mojo Riley, can't forget him, the American Alpha, of course, the Usos, Tyler Breeze and Fandango. I mean, it's a hell of a lot of people that are in that, Matt. I don't, I know they did that kind of thing back in the traditional days, like the very early days, I believe, where they had that many. I think on one of them,
I always get confused with the tag team division ones, though, because do they count one elimination is the whole team? Like, is it both of a team, or is it just one member of a team? That's what confuses me.
Yeah, I would have to say that surely it's both. I mean, how long is that going to take? That's probably going to, to 3 hours later and we're still on the same match. I mean, I would hate to be the booker who's doing that lot. I tell you, who's producing this thing? God dear. How you're going to need a bloody megaphone, aren't you, to get your ideas across to everybody in this one? But I mean, I just hope that it gets booked right. I expect nothing but pace in this and fastness, but sometimes these are good and sometimes they're really bad, depending on how they're done, because there's so many in it. This is the only one I'm not big on, Matt. This is the one I think might spoil the other two that I'm really looking forward to in the traditional Survivor Series matches. I wish this would have been split in half and we just get, instead of the shining stars who haven't done an awful lot, and maybe the Hype Bros on the other, and Tyler and Fandango, like let's cut some of them out and just have it would have been nice if we could have just had I don't know, like the American Alpha, and I don't know, even if you had Rhino or whoever, just the Usos, whatever, in there, against perhaps, the New Day and Enzo and Cass or something like that, or Gallows and Hansen. But that would have been a little bit better. But nonetheless, that they've gone with this traditional. It's how it's written down is traditional Survivor Series tag team. It does not say anything about how that gets worked into it. But I just feel this is the probably the weakest one I believe on the night, including the single matches, by the way, because I just got a feeling this could all go horribly wrong. But I do think there'll be enough excitement in it. Who do you think goes over in this one, Matt? Because this is you've got to think this will be the first SmackDown vs Raw, the Survivor Series match of the night, I would imagine, and obviously it's going to be interesting. Who do they give the 2-1 to, or is it going to be 3-0 or whatnot on each brand? I've got a feeling it'll go down to just 2-1. I think it'll be 1-on-1 until the end, and then everybody will, that'll be what they're talking about, who gets the upmanship on each other. But Team Raw or in the tag teams, or is it Team SmackDown, Matt?
Oh, this is a difficult one. This is the one I've gone back and forth most on. Kind of the New Day kind of sway it for me. I would go with Raw because of the New Day.
Sure.
I think I'll go that way.
Yeah, fair enough. I'm going with Team Raw as well. Don't know who the hell's going to survive out of that lot, but I'm going to go with them. Expect some shenanigans in the match. I'm sure that there'll be teams fighting one another and all this stuff. So, I'm
sure whoever gets eliminated on Team Sheamus Cesaro won't be happy with the other one.
Yeah, exactly. I seem to be doing that. They've got to be careful though that they don't use the same methods in each Survivor Series match, because there's a lot of that, Matt, isn't there, where people are going together and that's the story is more about that, them getting on, as opposed to fighting together for this so-called Raw respect and SmackDown respect. Like, I don't want to see that story overdone. I want to see it once and once only. I don't want to see it happening twice, or at least, even worse if it's 3 times. But let's just do that once. So I'm hoping that won't be the case. But I definitely go with Team Raw on this. I just think, either way, it could go either way. I will not be surprised. Let's put it that way. If SmackDown win it either, it's just one of those ones that's going to be all over the place. Very hard to keep up with when we review that's for sure. But that's just my take on it, Matt. Now this one's interesting, Matt. What the hell happened? Dolph Ziggler. How did this happen, Matt? They've done all this work. Everyone was so happy when it finally happened, and even I was quite surprised at the response it got. And it almost looks like they took a giant dump on all that, and we're back now with like nothing. Like, it's almost like they're going to phase it out, and Miz is champion, and he's up against Sami Zayn. Why on earth do you think they did this? I've heard no sort of I've not heard of any antics going on backstage, but is it just purely because they wanted to do heel versus face?
Yeah, I get that kind of feeling. But I would have been much more interested to see face versus face, like Ziggler versus Zayn. That to me, screamed a bit more importance and a bit more caliber to that. And I know that Miz is doing the best work of his career so far right now, but he dropped the title recently, so you might as well just ram Ziggler for the heck of it. And then once they had this match over and done with, because I'm pretty sure they can't have both the US title and the Intercontinental title going to Raw, so it kind of says the Miz is going to retain. So they could have just held off the trigger and just had Miz pick it up again the week after or something. Yeah,
it's got here, if Zayn wins, the title will transfer to Raw.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Okay. That would be interesting, wouldn't it? But Sami Zayn, he's it's in Canada. You're going to expect him to be well over, but it looks like, it'd be horrendous. I think. I mean, it's just so bad, Matt, in the fact that the Miz has just won it. Like the result is almost conclusive for me. I mean, it's like